right, welcome back. Got a pretty quick one here for you. Don't want to talk about a new gun, but I do want to talk about, new to me, the Mecanik M01 red dot sight. So kind of getting into red dot sights here as of late, and I wanted to give this one a try, mostly because the price is right. So I was looking at RMSC footprint optics because I had the SIG Romeo Zero, and that didn't really work out. It's okay, but it's difficult to actuate. And so I was looking around and I saw a review on this one from somebody else. I had I knew that Mecanik or Canik was making these dots, but didn't know much about them, and I kind of wondered what this was about. So I watched a review, and I thought, man, that sounds too good to be true. Just a quick rundown of the list of like what they said this thing was about. It's that it's got a little bit kind of owl ears, kind of like the RMR design, but not quite. I still think that if you're just looking at the owl ear design of it, I think that would distribute, a shock down the body of or into the housing away from the lens maybe of this dot. So I kind of, not many other, or only other one that I can think of is the Trijicon RMR that has that capability. So that was interesting to me. It's auto adjust, which I thought almost immediately I was like, nope, I'm not doing auto adjust. I've had one auto adjust dot back in the day. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like, I think it might have been an RMR, but it was like you would draw out and then you're like waiting for the dot to slowly, appear or adjust to the light. So I was always faster. My eyes are always faster than the dot was. And I was like, no, that's not going to do. But they said, nope, this one is legit. It's faster than you. And it was. So I went from light to dark. I think it came with this little thing here, and I would put it over the top of it because that kind of shuts it off. Like it once it's not sensing any light, it slowly gets dimmer until it turns off. So I was kind of like trying to rip this thing off and see if I could see the dot appear, but it's always been faster than me. And I took it out to a match, shot it in a match, as you saw some of the stages there. But it was faster than me and had zero issue with the auto adjust in this so far, which was really surprising to me. Pros, so like I said, the price is right. This was $187, including tax for the state of Washington. This cost $203, shipped to my door next day or overnighted by Amazon. So can't beat that, man. It comes zeroed from the factory. It's supposed to be zeroed for a Canik. It's a Mecanik, made by Canik dot. But it was, when I put it on this 365 Wilson Combat macro, it was zeroed just as well. It was just a touch to the right, but I mean, it's not a Canik gun, so it was nearly perfect from the factory, zeroed in. It has big hex screws, so I didn't use them. You can't see it on here. I'll get to that in the cons. But it came with a lot of these little things. I have had specifically the Romeo Zero sat over there on the bar over there for like a year on it was on a mount because I'd put it on a Picatinny rail on a 22 long rifle, and I had just left it there because I stripped one of the screws out and I was just like, all right, I don't know what to do with this anymore. But the Mecanik screws are, I forget what Torx head they are, but they're really big. So you're not going to have any issues getting this onto a Canik. Not to bury the lead or anything, but that's not going to work on something like this. The thread pitch of the supplied screws is much larger than the 365 mount. So I borrowed some screws from that came with the Hollow Sun EPS carry and worked just fine. That may be leading into another issue that I'll get to here in a minute. Like I said, the auto adjust works great. No issues on the draw, no issues on the movement from lighter to darker areas, just no issues with that at all. And the owl ears to dissipate force is very interesting to me because I purchased this with the intent of hey, maybe this will replace the Romeo Zero on my carry gun. So a few cons before I let you go. The screws provided, while they're big and will aid in not stripping those out, didn't work on the 365. That's not a big deal. It worked. Probably the biggest con for me So it says it's an RMSC footprint, and it is to an extent. I don't know if this is a problem with the dot or a problem with the slide. I don't even actually know if it's a problem. So when I took it to the range to sight it in, when I took it to the range for a quick ASI match, it worked just fine. However, I noticed, and I'll throw some pictures up for you to see, there's like right here where the slide meets the dot, I can see daylight underneath of it. It's like ever so little. I don't know if it's a big deal because it's hitting. It was accurate when I put it on. It's accurate now that I adjusted it to the left just a touch. I don't know if that's a big deal. I don't know if that's going to affect durability or longevity. The 365 slides do have they're sort of lugs. They're like they go up inside the housing of whatever dot you're putting on, and then you screw into it. So like that will, I think, help with the shear forces a little bit, but I just don't know about that. It really has me kind of off put by it. Take a look at the pictures. Yeah, so if you guys know something about that, let me know. I don't know about that. The only other con I have is it's 1632 batteries, and you have to remove the sight to change the battery. There are several that you don't. I believe the EPS carry you don't. The new SIG X compact dots you don't. But for what it is, for $200, I mean, this is a hell of a dot. You know, if this is a big deal, this just slight gap in the dot and slide there, I think taking this and put it on an actual Mecanik pistol would alleviate all of that. And so maybe I have another reason to buy another gun and buy a Mecanik. Take a look at the rest of the stages, and I'll see you on the next one.
Bye!